So in this video, I want to talk about at. Now if you remember in the previous videos, we looked at in and on. If you remember correctly, those are prepositions of place, correct? Prepositions of place. Well, at is also a preposition of place. And it can be the most difficult out of the three. But hopefully at this class I can make it a little easier for you. So we use at in a couple different ways. The first way I want to explain is general location. Okay, general location. Okay, general location. Now, general location can be difficult to understand, but the best way to think about it is if you look at a building. Okay, so for example, if we have a, I don't know, very typical building, something like this. Maybe we can say this is a school. Okay, this is a school. Now, if you are a person and somebody calls you, for example, if your mother calls you and she says, where are you? Okay, well in this case, you can say I am at the school, correct? I'm at the school. Okay, or maybe your mother calls you, and maybe instead of being outside, you are inside. But once again, we could say you are at the school. Or maybe you're not a good kid, and maybe you're on top of the school, maybe. But still, if your mother called you, you could say you are at the school. Because for all of this, you are in the general area of the school, correct? You are in this general area of the school. And for all that area, we would say at. Alright, so that's the general location, at. Let me give you another example. Okay. So let's say if you go to the movies with your friends, if you go to the cinema, like a little bigger building, cinema, something like that. And you go with your friends and, I don't know, you're waiting with your friends outside. Okay, and maybe you have other friends. Okay, but those friends are inside the cinema. Okay, they're inside watching the movie. Okay, here's my screen, not very good, and my seats, but you guys get the basic idea. So you have your friends in here sitting watching the movie. And they call you and they say, where are you? Where are you? And you would say, we are at the cinema. Okay, they are at the cinema. But remember, at is the general area. Okay, it's all this area here. All that area is at. But maybe they want to be more specific. They say, we are at the cinema. Where specifically are you at? Well, you could possibly say, we are outside the cinema. Okay, we're outside the cinema. So we're still at the cinema because we're in the general area of it, the general location. But if you want to be more specific, you can say outside the cinema. Okay, so at is very good when you want to be general, but it's not very good when you want to be specific. All right. So hopefully that will give you a clearer picture of that. So another way we use at is we use it for a specific time. Specific time. Okay, specific time. So I can say, like in the previous example, we go to the cinema. I can say, what time do you want to meet at the cinema? Okay, so we can say, for example, let's meet at 6. Let's meet at 6 o'clock. Okay, let's meet at 6 o'clock. But the big deal in this sentence, we say at 6 o'clock, correct? At 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock is specific time, and at is referring to it. Okay? So let me give you another example. You can say, I start working at 1:30, for example. I start working at 1:30. So once again, at is talking about 1:30, correct? I start working at 1:30. So always when we use kind of this specific time, okay, when we use this specific time, we say at. Okay, time. So we say at for a specific time. And we also use at for some other times during the day. Okay, so for example, we could say I eat lunch at noon. I eat lunch at noon. Okay, I eat lunch at noon. But what is noon? Well, noon really is just 12 o'clock, which is also a specific time. Okay, so we say at noon. Okay, or maybe I can say she sleeps at midnight. Okay, well, midnight is also 12 o'clock, but 12 o'clock p.m. So you could even write that in a 24-hour clock. That would be exactly 24, okay? But those are both still times, okay? These are still times. So we use it for those specific times. Okay, so hopefully that'll give you a better idea of that. And generally we do use it for one more thing. One more. And this one's pretty easy. We use it for addresses. Addresses. Okay, your address, where you live. Okay, so for example, I can say, I don't know, maybe I live at 41 Main Street. Okay, I live at 41 Main Street. Okay, once again we say at, and then we have the address here, correct? We have at in the address. So in this case we're talking about the address. Alright. Or I could say my favorite oops, the pen seems to be having problems. Favorite restaurant is at 1112 First Street. Okay, 1112 First Street. I'll write street down here. 1112 First Street. Okay, but once again, I say my favorite restaurant is at. Okay, at 112 First Street. Remember, all these are addresses. Okay, so that's kind of a basic overview. In the next video, I'll continue with more specifics.